I can show this now because it's not true. This is self-assessment in revenue and customs. At the time, you're pleased to know that your form had about 0.05% value add going on. Many of you will recognise this from many value stream maps that you've already done. The second one's flow. Does anybody know what this is? Come on, NHS people. What's this called? Come on. No? No? Accident emergency. What's the process called? It's got a clue in the first 3 boxes. Triage. Where did triage come from?
Wars.
Wars. Which war? Who's the person that actually developed it? No, it wasn't Crimean, actually. It was, the clue's in the name, triage. First World War really embedded it, but actually it's from the ideas of, he's a nice man, wasn't he? And his surgeon was a particularly nice man. So when the soldiers came off the field, they had minor injuries and they had major injuries. What did that surgeon, what was that soldier told to do by Napoleon? Which ones should he treat first? Why? To get them back on the battlefield. It got switched with Florence Nightingale. It's a major injury and the whole tagging system that we use now. But actually, when we go into A&E and we're left there, how does it start to feel? How does it start to feel? Because we're told we can wait. How do we start to feel? Annoyed, yeah? So what do we start doing? Complaining. So taking their time up. How long does it take to be treated? Have any of you been in recently with a little kid or a sports injury over the weekend? How long's the treatment?
2 minutes.
Not quite. Let's be around about 15, 20 minutes. So what should we do? What should we do in terms of those minor injury? Probably. What should we do? What some hospitals have called. Anybody in here doing this? See and treat? It's about sifting some minor injury patients through see and treat. Now, the caveat is if a big road traffic accident happened, they would flip across to major injuries. I've got a lovely picture of a doctor handcuffed to a minor injury trolley. Why are they handcuffed to it? Because it's boring. They don't enjoy it. But it's getting people in and out of the system as quickly as possible. In all of your systems, you will have something called runners, things that come in and out. And the mistake we often made is we mix those up with the things that take a lot longer. They're called repeaters and strangers. Some of you may know this terminology. And the thing to do is to start getting the flow across those pieces. This is reduction of waste. Revenue and customs again. Some great examples. Ailey, she's smiling at the front here. She recognises all these slides. Revenue and customs. So lots of examples. Overproduction, this is a classic one. Royal Mail didn't bring the post at 7:45. What did the team do? Had another cup of tea. And when it arrived, they moved it 0.5 kilometre. And I'm being told the worst example is 1 kilometre and 7 floors. And why was it there? Because it's always been there. Yeah? It's about challenging this way of thinking. The 2 approaches that I've seen, so that was your outline of lean. The 2 approaches that I've seen across the organisation I've gone in, that includes local government and health organisations as well as the ones I've mentioned, are rapid improvement events. How many of you are doing rapid improvement events or done Kaizen blitzes? There's not many hands going up at the back. I'm going to have to walk up there if you don't. So how many of you done or thinking about doing rapid improvement events or Kaizen blitzes? Yeah, about a fifth of the audience. That's getting people together to look at a particular process. And it's a fantastic tool to engage the frontline workers. They love it. You know, hospital example again, 17 forms, 17 forms to admit a patient into a ward. 55 minutes of the nurse's time. They knew it was bonkers, so when they sat down, they got it down to 2 forms for legal reasons, and it took now 8 minutes. Planning departments are my favourite in local authorities. I'm not even going to start, I don't need to give examples, do I? You're all nodding at me. Wonderful examples in planning departments. But you get those people together, and I've spoken to local authorities, and they say, God, we knew what was wrong, and we got the opportunity to tell you. And they come out with some really good action plans. The trouble is, if you're not doing lean in other ways, many of those actions get lost after about 3 or 4 weeks. You need to have it embedded in a more full implementation approach. And that's what we've seen in Revenue and Customs, Court Services, DWP. I've been to some Job Centre Plus sites. That's what we're seeing. Nowhere to hide. It's an array of tools and techniques, which I'm going to show you in a minute, that actually engage the whole workforce. That's a quote there from Court Services. So rapid improvement events, you will get short-term gains, you will get engagement, a fantastic tool for that. But unless, I don't have a pointer on this, do I? But unless you actually get a lean approach, I'm going to take my time up. No, it's all right. Oh, no, it's fine. No, there we go. So unless we actually take an overall approach, from what I've seen, you'll only get a certain amount of impact. So what are the three, what a surprise, three sorts of tools there that are being used from the work I've done that's emerged. The tools are being used for assessment, for monitoring, and for improvement. Assessment tools are things, process mapping. Now, this is a really exciting process, isn't it? This is capital gains tax process. Well, actually, not a lie, it's more exciting than that. It's actually capital gains policy development process. And it was 152 steps and 2 years. Yep. And now it's 6 weeks and about 16 steps. So it's about looking at the way we do it. How many of you done process maps? Yeah, oh, most of you, brilliant. Brown bits of paper and Post-its are great. We don't need the complicated things. Sorry, consultants in the room. So streams and Post-it notes are fine. This has to be one of the most powerful tools that's come out of Lean in public services. One question I ask in every focus group, and I've asked this question out over 500 times. I've got a lot of data. It's great for being an academic. 500 times, and they say, would you want to go back to life before Lean? Now, about 70% say no. You thought I was going to say the other way around then, didn't you? 70% said no, 30% say yes. But I say, but if I did take it all away and you could leave one thing, what would you want to keep? And 90% say visual boards and daily meetings. It makes the invisible visible, and it makes the implicit explicit. In manufacturing, we can see the stuff building up if there's a problem in the process. In services, when there's a problem, what we do is we hide it under our desk, yeah? Or we stick it in a pending tray. What this does is it makes it very, very apparent. So what we've got here, this is a Revenue Customs team board. Each team, in NICO, how many of you have visited NICO? Anybody here visited NICO? A couple? So you've seen at 10 o'clock in the morning, everyone stands up. It's a very big tea break. No. Actually, it's people going to their team boards to listen about what they're doing that day. Some people are a bit disgruntled. They don't understand why they're doing it. They see, you know, it's 10 minutes we could be getting on with work. But it's a really clear way of seeing what they've got to achieve that day and what their performance was the day before. Do you know, one of the nicest quotes I've ever had doing all the work I've done, I've had it about 3 or 4 times now, is, you know the trouble with this lean thing, Zoe? If I say I'm going to come into work, I've actually got to come into work. Many of you work flexi time, don't you? To the degree that the sun is shining, they can take a flexi day. With lean and resource planning, they can't do that. They've got to commit. But the question is, who are we here for? And therefore, I think that was quite an interesting quote. Here's some more examples. So here again is an example of a team leader taking a team meeting. Here is a manager's board. They get cascaded up in Revenue and Customs. So you've got your team boards, they get cascaded up to managers' boards, even directors' boards. And they have meetings. That's all the performance of the various teams in the Cardiff pay-as-you-earn. This got me really excited. Any of you who are real production operation engineers here will recognise this as a takt-time board. First one I've seen inside a public service. Really understanding the flow of work through your organisation. That's as far as I'm going to go with that one. And this is a problem-solving wall. This is ongoing problem-solving. So it's not just your rapid improvement events and we come out with the actions. What you're seeing here is examples of tools used day in, day out to tackle continuous improvement, and visual boards to help that.